What happens at laser tag never stays at laser tag.
Laser Unfocused Tag Talk.
Laser Unfocused Tag Talk.
I feel like you could be like in Ghostbusters or something.
Oh my God, you have got some stories.
Let's talk about laser tag.
Who knew you were a laser tag legend?
Time to get laser unfocused. Tag Talk with Tivia.
Welcome to Laser Unfocused Tag Talk. Hi, I'm Tivia. The laser storm scene recently got some excellent media exposure, and one player received some particularly nice recognition from a state representative. Let's hear more about it from this year's Top Gun. Today, I'm joined by Nick Price, aka Ninja Master, who was the winner of the Top Gun event at this year's Laser Storm Nationals event, and I'm delighted to have you chatting with me. Hey, Nick, how's it going?
Great. Super happy to be on. Super excited to just talk about my nationals this year and just kind of like Storm in general. So
Absolutely. Now, before we get into the tournament in and of itself, we'll just kind of skip ahead to the end where you ended up in the top spot as the Top Gun, and that garnered some interest and attention. Now, I work in the mainstream media, and so I know that it is not always easy to get media attention for things like laser tag events, but you were at the center of some excellent exposure, and I saw a newspaper article about the Laser Storm Nationals tournament, and apparently I wasn't the only one because your success caught the attention of Pennsylvania State Representative Arvind Venkat, who presented you with a citation for your accomplishments. So congratulations. I have honestly never heard of that happening, so I would love to hear a little bit about how exactly did that happen. Tell me the story.
yeah, so the photographer was there during the tournament, just kind of like taking photos, asking people a little bit of questions. And afterwards, I didn't think too much of it. I didn't know like if there would be a story run for it, but the photographer was at least there. But then a couple days later, the Trib actually gave me a phone call and was trying to reach me saying that they wanted to do like a phone interview for the article. So I guess that they had known that I did win Top Gun and I did get voted MVP that year. So I did about a 15-minute interview, and that was what got published in the Trib for the article for Nationals, which was really incredible. And I already thought that was like such a huge thing, especially for like Storm and just like the national tournament in general. I thought that was like really cool to have an article about it. But I got another call like about a week later from Representative Venkat's office, and they had said they wanted to give me a citation for the achievement. And we set up a meeting. I was able to just kind of meet with him, and he presented me with the award. So that was just kind of how it came about.
That's terrific. Now, was he familiar with laser tag, or did he have lots of questions for you? What was like his familiarity with what was going on?
Yeah, so he was familiar with Laser Storm Pittsburgh. Obviously, like it's a pretty big place in the community. It's about to be 30 years old next year, similar to the actual national tournament that next year in Ohio will be number 30. But he was not familiar like with the scene at all, or even like the different systems that existed. So I just kind of gave him a lot of my background, and then described to him, how I got the Top Gun award, and then also how the tournament itself kind of works. Just kind of asked, like who participated, like how many teams come around, is there like a system that feeds into it? And he would just get trying to get like a full scope of it. And yeah, from there I just kind of gave my thoughts on it on top of that, and then that's what our interview was.
All right. Well, and I'm going to ask you some of those same questions because even though I'm familiar with this, for anybody
Go for
who's
it.
not, the title of Top Gun, people might wonder from outside the scene, well, what does that mean? What goes into that? So could you kind of give an explanation of how the Laser Storm tournament scene works and what Top Gun is and how it all kind of fits together?
Yeah, so the regular Storm play, just like team play, is 5-on-5. Teams play, in particular for the national tournament, 2 days of round robin, where they have their team of 5, or maybe they're running 6, like with an alternate. And after those 2 days, the seeding ends and you play a double elimination bracket. All of that team play is super important to Storm, and a lot of how the system works. But there is one small tournament before the main event starts called Top Gun, where you're playing more for yourself and your individual, I guess, ability rather than working with your team. So for anyone that signs up for it, you do like a couple seeding rounds. So we did 2 in this case, and then it feeds into like the top. We did the top 16, and each round, based on how well you do in the game, based on your given and taken, the top half moves on, and the top half gets cut, and then you continue that process until you get down to a one-on-one, and then you play to win the last game. So
it's not exactly last man standing, but definitely the highest score at the end of a little bit of
yeah,
last man standing.
yeah, it's kind of like that, where you do want to do really well, but you also have to progress through the rounds, and that kind of changes the dynamic, especially when the games get smaller and you're really almost you're in a 4-on-4, and then eventually you're in on a 2-on-2, and even those two games are so much different. So it's about how well you score, but also you have to be able to win individually by yourself when it comes down to it.
What would you say are the main differences? How does a game with more people play differently in your mind in this scenario with the Top Gun specifically?
Well, I think you have more options in the arena when it comes to like a 4-on-4. If something's not working and you feel like you're getting crushed in a particular area, you can go to the other side of the arena or try to um, change up what you're doing. Whereas, as the games get smaller, your targets are less. So every hit is that much more impactful. And you have to be very calculated in how you approach each situation. Additionally, the game starts to become very much about like where each player is as the numbers go down, especially like in the last one-on-one, which I know we'll talk about with Red Dog. When there's one player, so when you find that one player, like you have to make your move, and then you need to use that advantage to move to the next place. Like there's not much. I guess it gets a little bit tighter each round that goes by. So.
Mhm. So you were reading my mind, but I do want to know, how does this end with, you get down to one-on-one? How does that play out? What happened this time?
Yeah, so Matt Red Dog, I think most people know in the Storm scene. He at this tournament, I had found out he was looking for his 10th Top Gun win,
Oh,
and this was my first time getting past the round of 8. So I'm in the final one-on-one against him, which had me super nervous. I've obviously been playing against Matt, ever since I started playing competitive laser tag, which is about 2018. So probably 7 years. I've been obviously someone who looked up to Matt. So it was very interesting to play against him in the one-on-one. And I think, I guess I can go into the game more if you want, like just
please.
each. Yeah. So the way the arena was set up was the offensive run could kind of see the other team's offensive run as well. So the game started, and I went to hit. He hit me first, and I energized. It's one shield, for those who don't know. So like, same thing for like a team play or for individual play. You get hit once, you have to go recharge. The shots don't really matter. Like you have as many shots as you need, but that one hit means you need to go recharge. So he started the game with the drop on me, which meant I charged and ran to his base. He ran to my base, which if I'm down points and we're trading base for base, he's going to win. Like I have to make a move to try and regain the lead. I have to make up ground. So eventually I did make a move back and was able to take him out of the base, and it still left me disadvantaged, but I was like still in a good position. And then just kind of like moving around the arena, I was able to get some hits on him and quickly run to his base after I had hit him, which kind of like leveled the playing field a little more. But still, even then, there was like 4 minutes in the game, and it was really nerve wracking just playing against him one-on-one because at the start of the game, it was like a funny tidbit. Matt always is someone who's very aware of what's happening in the arena. Like if you miss a shot on him, if you have a shot and you miss it, he will turn and just aim at you instinctively because it's so ingrained into his brain what is happening in the game. So at the start of the game, I was on the other side of the arena and he said he could hear my headset saying energize before the game started. Like no music was on and he said he could hear me and that already like psyched me out a little bit. So at a point when I did regain the lead about halfway into the game, I just stopped in the middle of the arena and just tucked down, like ducked down, tucked in, and waited for him to go for my base because he had to get points back up on me. And I was just holding my breath there for an entire minute, just waiting for him. And people told me after the game, as they watched on the camera, that he was like hunting for me. Like he was trying to find where I was because I had eventually regained the lead and he needed to hit me. So after waiting for a minute, he hit my base and I hit him out. And then from there, I was able to dance around the arena and keep the lead for the rest of the game. But
That's incredible.
that was just my experience in the one-on-one because I thought that was the like a lot of the games I felt very good. I felt very good about the arena and getting there, but like that was the game that felt the hardest because obviously it's the final game. I had never gotten there. So but that's the one I remember most vividly.
Well, to get to the final game in and of itself is a big accomplishment. But when you're playing against that kind of level of experience with that history of him having so many Top Guns behind him,
Mhm.
how do you get into a mental space where you don't psych yourself out? How do you deal with was there an intimidation factor or did you come at it from any other angle?
I just really tried in between each round, knowing that I was playing really well and I was actually playing like the best tag I had been, just to keep calm, know that I've been practicing a lot and that this isn't my first Top Gun. Like I can still do this, and I just have to play my game. So I figured I could outrun Matt. I think like I had advantages, so I just tried to play into those.
Very good. Well, congratulations. It's exciting that it worked out. Sounds a little bit like a real David and Goliath moment to kind of get to that final game. And again, it's amazing that this got some nice mainstream attention for the game and for your success. So, when somebody from outside the scene takes notice like that,
Mhm.
Representative Venkat did, it I think really elevates the whole level of exposure and does very well for bringing new eyes to it. Maybe this is something where you're becoming a role model for somebody younger who sees, oh, laser tag, and look what that guy's doing. Did you? I know you said you started playing in 2018, so I
Mhm.
won't speculate where that puts you age-wise, but did you have somebody that you looked up to as you were getting into the scene?
Yeah. So I I I don't mind saying I'm
Sure.
24. So at that point, yeah, I was like 16, 17, still in high school playing. Um, and I did work there at the time. I actually did work there for 2 years. So
Okay.
Matt was one of the people that kind of did help mentor me. Um, Additionally, I think there's a lot of players who have been playing like in the leagues for a long time, and they've been kind of the ones like helping the younger kids get better. I think like Fred, the Phantom. I think like Clayton, Demi Death, have always pretty much played every single league, and they're always coaching new players and new teams about just basics and general like competitive strategy, but also like competitive integrity, like how to play, you know, um, and like be respectful and be sportsmanlike while you're playing. So I think as it's kind of come more full circle and I'm here now, I think I want to try and do that for other people in the scene and just kind of be someone, who's playing leagues and regionals and trying to help others see the same appreciation that I have for the game.
That's an awesome approach, and that's how you keep a scene growing. And Laser Storm seems to have a really nice scene, particularly for being smaller numbers wise. than some of the other systems that are out there. The loyalty and the fact that you've had a nationals going on. Laserstorm has one of the longest running national tournaments, and I think that that speaks very well to the scene. And you and I had just recently played at a regional event together at George Raptis's site, Skyway Laserstorm in Warren, Ohio. So looking around at the fact that that was a draft tournament and that there were people from other systems taking interest and wanting to get into this, I think that speaks very well to the scene also. So from that vantage point of you wanting to be a mentor, what kind of advice would you give to somebody who wants to move into the Laserstorm scene or a laser tag in general?
I think for laser tag in general, if you haven't played it before, just give it a try. Like, you'd be surprised what you can get out of it. And I think Storm, I can speak to Storm because that's my system. I think it offers a very high ceiling of competition. And again, you can put as much or as little as you want into it. You don't need to be super athletic. You don't need to be, kind of like a mastermind, or like you don't need to fit into an archetype of how you want to play. You can just kind of come in and just practice and get better. I think it's very accessible in that way. For Storm, I think the big thing that kind of helped my play was doing the bigger tournaments and kind of working with players who have been in the scene a little while, just to kind of give like just some information to make you more comfortable rather. It's one thing, to play like leagues and come down for member nights and things like that, but it's another thing to, play in the national tournament, especially when there are players who come just for that tournament and you don't play against often. So you see a lot of different things that you don't normally see. And you see a lot of different players with so much experience behind them that, even if you don't play against them throughout the year, like they'll come and they'll bring excellent competition. So I just think get out there and try it. And then if you're going to take it more seriously, find somebody who has played in these tournaments or has, experience in laser tag or in general with competition. And that should be a good place to start.
Now, you mentioned how many benefits there are to laser tag. What are some of the benefits that you've seen personally from your experience being in the scene?
I think definitely community is a big one.
Yes.
I've been playing with a lot of these people for a long time now. As someone who hasn't been there, since the beginning, someone who wasn't born since the beginning, I still think of like a lot of the people who still play, and like I've been playing with them so long, I know them so well. And even some of like the younger players, we had a lot of second year national players at this tournament, and I think I'm seeing so much growth out of them, and I'm seeing just a level of play I don't even think they thought they could have. They're believing in themselves more, and they are bringing some different perspective that we can like all learn from. So I think like community is like probably the number one for me.
Love that. Outside of all of that, what would you say has been the most rewarding thing for you as a player?
Probably just um personal growth in the sense of like I like competing and like I
Mhm.
like taking on competitive endeavors. So I think seeing how I stack up each year and how I stack up each time I play uh, is the most rewarding part for me. I think like the different skills I learn, like they're always great, but you have to kind of test them in the game and you have to test them against good players. So seeing that the progress is there and that um, I am able to play my best game each time I come, I think that is like the most rewarding part for me.
Very nice. Are there any aspects that you find to be particularly challenging?
Yes, I I think on that experience note, like sometimes you just whenever I work been working with different people kind of each tournament. Like I don't always have the same set in stone team. So just
Mhm.
kind of working with different people and trying to find what works best, I think can sometimes be challenging, especially like when you're trying to figure it out over the course of one tournament. I think additionally too, there's some skills in the game in particular that I struggle with. So I think like one of the most common skills is top Wilsoning, which those who don't know, when you're at a barrier and you're just looking like over the top, you can kind of like tilt your head back and hide your headset. And you can pop your phaser like up and down and just kind of fire single shots. It's a very common way to play, and a lot of the arenas you benefit from having that skill. And that's one in particular that keeps tripping me up. But I'm just trying to work on it each time I play. So
Mhm.
I'd say those are the two things off the top of my head.
I must say I am atrocious at Wilsoning, but I'm going to blame that on my height.
That's fair. That's fair.
That
I
may
feel
not be
like
the real reason, but I'm going to blame it on that anyway.
no. I think it's fair. No, that's totally valid. I feel like I'm at the height where I'm not like I'm when I go to a 6 foot, I got to jump. I'm on my tippy toes, and then
Mhm.
if I'm at a 5 foot, it's here. So I have to like duck way down, and it takes way too much effort. So I'll also blame my height for Wilsoning. So I understand that.
Well, a lot of cool skills to be acquired and a lot of experiences to be had. And at this point, you've played in quite a few tournaments, so I'm sure you have some stories. And that's where this whole podcast thing started. Is I want to hear some stories. What are the unusual or funny things that come to your mind as you look back over your years in competition? Any particularly interesting moments you want to share?
Hmm. I'll have to think on it for a second. I think
All right.
um so I've had a lot of travels, I guess, at this point.
Mhm.
In particular for nationals, because that's where we usually go the furthest. 2020 was at home, so that was my first tournament, and I think our team was the fish because we were like the new kids on the block. It was all our first tournament, so that was super fun because um, my teammate who was my teammate for 2025 as well, Joey, he made up a whole plan and did like a typed like essay kind of like plan and gave it to all five of us about what we were going to do on the final day. And that was just like I think I love him. I think that was a little much and we could play a little more free flow than that, but just like that energy and that commitment to it was super fun. I think that was also the first tournament too. I got to meet um a lot of the like other teams who come from out of town. So like
Mhm.
Tempest is obviously the big one, like Kyle and Eli. Both awesome dudes. I always get love playing with them at the national tournament, and I only get to see them then. But that was like my first time playing against people I had no idea were in the scene at all. So that was like very special for me. Um, then in 2021, playing in Ohio for my second nationals, that was where I saw a lot of talent um, that I hadn't seen before. Um, I know like I always look up to Matt. I think Red Dog is like he's my favorite player. I think he's the best player, but his team did not win in that 2021 tournament, and like I saw how good like that Ohio A team was, and that was just like really impressive to watch. I think that's going to be probably a big thing coming into the next year's tournament for 2026 to see if they can win again at their home store. But like watching that was super incredible and really motivating, honestly. Just seeing like how good that team was. Um, 2023 was in Minnesota, which most of the arena, like every time I played, it's been in a big arena. So 2023 was particularly unique because it was the smallest arena I'd played in,
Okay.
which it was instead of being like more square, which I think lends to more lanes, more places to go, it was more rectangular. So like it was long single lanes that you had to really battle your way through. And that was like I thought that was difficult. That was like a hard arena to play in, and I think my team we just didn't have like a good strategy, and I didn't have the experience to win that kind of tournament. But that was definitely like unique. Um, I did really like that. I like that arena looking back, but it was very challenging. Um, and then 2024 was uh, Butler. Yeah, up in Butler, just a little bit north of here. That was like the same kind of thing, an arena I haven't played in, but I think I had played well that tournament. I had a bit of a newer team, not much experience, so I think that was kind of the first time I tried to lead more, and I think I learned a lot of lessons from that tournament that I'm hoping to take forward. So those are just kind of like my general. I've only played in those nationals, but that's kind of my general memories off the top of my head.
Okay.
So
Well, and I find it interesting. I personally love to just experience a lot of different laser tag arenas and see how they all handle things differently. What would you say is the most unique laser tag arena that you've ever gotten to play in?
I think George's arena having the Tron barriers is always like very different, and it lends to so many different um, like angles or like ways to play that you wouldn't necessarily think of. So I guess in that sense, for the barriers, I would say George's is
Okay,
unique.
very cool. And do you have any particularly favorite laser tag memory? And if it's the most recent one, I would totally
It's
get that.
probably it's probably going to be winning Top Gun. I think that was the euphoric high after winning. Actually, seeing on the scoreboard that I won the game. That was
Mhm.
that was probably my favorite. I think that was the
Very
most
cool.
rewarding.
Well, and I've got to say, I find it rewarding to be able to bring different elements in. And Top Gun was actually the scoring basis for something that we recently did at Georgia's site, where we brought in Tag for a Cause
Hmm.
to benefit the Epilepsy Foundation. And so sometimes when I do that for random public nights, we make it, a couple of hours of whatnot. But in this particular instance, we brought it into a tournament setting. So we had a short window of time. So we used Top Gun as the rubric. And you participated in that, which I certainly
Hmm.
appreciate. So can you tell me what were your thoughts about like why you get involved in side events like something like Tag for a Cause? What brought you into that?
Well, first of all, I think I did donate to the Epilepsy Foundation, so I think that
Much
obviously is
appreciated.
is is the yeah the number one reason. But I think from a gameplay standpoint, Top Gun's something only played in the national tournament. It's not played anywhere else. So just to play it again, I think was exciting. But I think like in general, when you have a tournament and you do like side events, it doesn't have to be something like Top Gun. It could be, I don't know. We haven't done many other modes, but it could be something that we try. Um, I just think different. You get to see different things out of players you play against, and you get to see them in like a different environment. So like um, in particular in this event, I wanted to play against Corbin really bad. I know he did win. I got second. I was trying to outscore him, but I couldn't. But like just watching how he runs around the arena everywhere, just like racking up hits, and doing things that he wouldn't necessarily do in a regular game. I mean, he might, but like just seeing that from players is always like why I love kind of the side events and playing different game modes, because people get so creative and play the game how they wouldn't usually play.
Hmm. And for those who don't know, Corbin is a fairly young player. So
Hmm.
it's really very heartening to see how skillful he is at such a young stage in his journey. So, yeah, congratulations to Corbin for being our Top Gun at Tag for a Cause. And
Hmm.
congratulations to you because, boy, you gave him a run for his money, as did several of the players who went into that finals event.
Yeah.
And again, it was raising money for the Epilepsy Foundation. So it was delightful to bring that element into the tournament play. And so that was sort of the in between the Swiss round robin and the finals at the regionals, which was just a great time. Um, any anything that you took away particularly from that event?
I think in that event, I think I had a bit of like I had a kind of game plan once we did the draft. And again, I didn't know all my players because they were players from Armageddon, from other systems. I had Papa Smurf, which I was really excited to play with. I think that's what makes the draft tournament so fun is like I get to play with people I would never actually play with in a tournament. But I know he did go out for his knee injury, but I was super excited to play with him. I think he's recovering and doing well, so that was
Yes.
good to hear. But I think like the big takeaway from this tournament, I think will be for me, how can I better, even with like the players I have, just like what experience can I bring and what kind of communication can I have to see what players like and what they don't like, making them, feel comfortable talking about like what they want to do. I think like that was like kind of my personal takeaways, but I think overall I love the tournament, and I think like draft tournaments are something we should do more often. It gets people, mingling. You get to play with people you don't normally play with. It lets people who aren't from Storm kind of try Storm in a competitive but not super serious environment. So to me, those draft tournaments are really important. But those are just kind of my like personal thoughts, and then my thoughts on the tournament. So
Well, I wholeheartedly agree. I enjoyed playing with the draft format, and it did bring out people from other systems. So again, growing that scene so important, and I think
mhm.
that Laser Storm players are doing a great job with that. And
Shout
so
out to I was
yeah.
just gonna say shout out to Tom and George for hosting that, and
Oh gosh,
I think
yes,
they did an
absolutely.
excellent job. So
They really did. With a myriad of challenges thrown into the mix. You've got to
mhm.
sprinkle in some challenges, or it isn't a tournament. Am I right?
Yes, yeah, yep.
Yeah.
There's got to be a little bit of little bit of a pushback from everything, just things going on, but like you got to persevere.
Yes, but very well executed. I agree, and a great time for everyone, and as it should be, as Laser Storm or laser tag, any kind of laser tag should be an enjoyable time, and that's what keeps us coming back. So, I wonder, do you have any final thoughts about your views on laser tag, which you'd like to share?
I think the key one is definitely for anyone who hasn't played, just to try it and try Storm. I think I I love Storm so much. Um, it's been so fun just to practice and get better and practice and get better and see kind of like the fruits of my labor, and just kind of like how I've grown as a player. I think like that to me is just makes it so rewarding. Um, I'm really excited for next year. Really excited to go back to George's to play this next national. Super pumped to see how I do in the next Top Gun competition. I have to try to keep the trophy here, but also see if I can hunt for kind of that team trophy and see how I do in the main event. So can't wait
Very
for it.
nice.
I'm excited.
Well, congratulations again, and thank you for bringing some positive exposure to the scene. And I like to end with a little bit of rapid fire tag talk. Some quick
Okay,
questions to you and quick answers back. You game?
I'm game for it. Let's do it.
All right. What's your favorite laser tag arena besides your home site?
Uh, Skyway. I'll go George's.
Okay. Favorite prize or souvenir that you've won? I think I know the answer to this.
It's probably going to be the citation and the Top Gun trophy. I'd say like that's
Awesome.
number one.
Who's the coolest person you've ever met through laser tag?
I'll say Lex Skeletor.
Okay. Yeah, he was helping out. I loved also that there was a skills session and that he and Tom were very
Yeah, I
active
know
in
he was doing a
teaching
good
some
job.
skills.
Yeah, he was
That
doing
was
really good in
awesome.
that.
What's your favorite snack at the concession stand?
It's got to be cheese pizza. Easy.
Oh, good one. Favorite brand of We Never Run in the Arena shoes?
Uh I guess flip flops. I don't know. Like I kind of
Taking that very literally, we
yeah,
do not run
yes,
in flip-flops.
yes. I had to think about the question for a second, but it is rapid fire, so you're good. Keep going.
Okay. And finally, best reason to play laser tag.
Uh, I'd say the competition for me.
Love it. Love it. And I appreciate you taking some time to talk tag with me. That is my guest, Nick Price, the top gun from this year's Laser Storm Nationals tournament. Congratulations and thank you again, Nick.
Thank you again. This has been wonderful. Super happy to come on.
Thanks for checking out this episode of Laser Unfocused Tag Talk. Listen for more episodes on the first and third Friday of each month. Want to be a guest on an upcoming episode? Find out more and follow my blog and website at TiviaChickLovesLaserTag.com.